First of all, though, I want to know, how many of you saw Dr. Dork come in and think that he's going to try to do some kind of crazy thing with making a snake have a dinosaur? Really? Does he think that he can pull that off?
It's not possible.
I don't think it's possible either. No. Actually, I'm quite positive it's not possible. And he's so silly. His little partner thinks that he's smart, but we all know that God is the one that put dinosaur and animal together, or dinosaur and people together first, right?
Right.
So they're trying to do something that God's already done. Can't one up God, can you? Oh, no. All right. So
Nobody could turn himself into a dinosaur, but turning it inside out.
I don't know. I think he's probably a dinosaur himself. He kind of looks scary sometimes. All right. So, question. Who knows the memory verse?
I think I know.
I heard you guys out here playing earlier. Does anybody know power verse? Kevin,
I'll try to.
tell me the power verse.
Genesis 3:14. And God said unto the serpent, and he shall curse for what thou hast done. They are cursed above all the cattle and all the beasts of the field, and upon the bell thou shalt go, and thou shalt thou eat this thy days.
All right. So, for everybody that didn't hear that, so the Lord God said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat the dust all the days of your life. Why did he have to go on his belly? We've been talking about creation and all this stuff that's happened, but why did God condemn him to crawl on his belly?
Because he needed first too.
Why though?
Because he tricked out.
Because, what did he do? I want somebody to shout it really loud.
Because he wanted to be like Jesus. Because he wanted to be better than Jesus.
Well, let's go back to the very beginning of creation. When God created everything, it was good and perfect, right? All right. What happened whenever Adam and Eve were in the garden?
A serpent came by and
Satan
caused them to stumble.
Right. The serpent came by and told Eve, you shall not surely die, right? You guys have heard this many, many times. So Eve, of course, eats the fruit, goes and tells Adam how good it is, and Adam eats it, and then boom. That all happens, right? Then all of a sudden, they realize they don't have any clothes on and they're running back, right? Right. We've heard this a million times. Okay, but so now we're gonna talk about snakes today. We've talked about why they crawl on their belly. We've talked about all these animals and everything, right? But I want to know, why are snakes scary?
Because some are venomous and can kill you.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the snake and Adam and Eve was really the devil, so that makes it bad.
Okay.
Because God put something in us to make us not like serpents.
That's right. Snakes are really scary looking, aren't they? I don't think snakes are scary looking.
Yes, they are.
When they look at me with those fangs, that's not scary. You want to know something? They're on TV when they look at me like that, and I still get scared. I'm not getting close enough to look them eye to eye like that. No way, Jose. I'm not doing it. All right.
One time I almost did that.
and someone had a stick and threw it in the woods.
So we know, we've been talking about creation, and there's the 7 C's of creation, right? Today we're going to be talking about corruption. And corruption all started in the garden, right? The Garden of Eden, okay? So, first of all, somebody tell me something about these little guys.
They're dangerous.
Are they all?
No. Some of them are actually nice.
There are some snakes that are nice.
Like from your garden.
Snake.
You know, there are some snakes that are pretty good. We used to have a snake down in our barn. We have a barn. And there used to be like rats and mice down there in the barn. And one day I go out. I was going to help my dad feed or something. I was younger. This was a couple of years ago. And I went to open up the stall door to put the feed in there for the horses. And the door wouldn't open. I thought, man, am I losing muscles or what? I couldn't get this door to open for anything. So I was like, all right, well, fine. Luckily, my dad had put in a little thing that you just unlatch and it opens up kind of like a window, only it's bars. So I thought, that's okay. I'll just open this little thing up here and I'll reach right in, put the feed in, and, you know, we'll be done then. So I open it up, and about that time, I hear something right up above my head. I was like, what was that? I look up, and it's this huge black snake. Huge snake. I mean, this thing was probably like this big around. Not even kidding. I guarantee it was like from the end of this little thing here to probably right here. Okay? Big, huge snake.
I saw a snake about bigger as that open.
You know what I did? I dropped the bucket and I ran. The horses didn't get their feed right then. They waited a little bit. And I'm running up to the house. I'm like, Dad, there's a snake! There's a snake! He's like, what? Where? And I told him, I said, down the barn, it's this big black snake! He's like, oh, that's just my pet snake. What? Since when did you have a pet snake? I never remembered him having a pet snake. But he says, oh yeah, it eats the mice and the rats that are down there. It's all right, he won't hurt you. He about hurt me because I about tripped and broke my leg because I was trying to get away from him. That would hurt, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't
So,
snake.
and even though that black snake probably wouldn't have hurt me, it still looked pretty scary to me.
I've been this far away from a snake, but it was in glass.
Since then, anytime I go down in that barn, I watch where I'm stepping, and I look at things around, and if something won't open, I'm looking up thinking, is there a snake up there again? Because what had happened was that snake had gotten up on top of the track that the door rolls open with, and every time that I'd go to open it, it would hit that snake and stop it. And because that snake was so big, that's what was preventing the door from opening. Pretty scary stuff for me. So snakes are very scary, even though not all of them are going to hurt us, right? You guys have heard the little garter snakes? Those little things that just kind of sliver around. They're real little. They don't really do a whole lot, right? You know, there's even little bitty snakes. Okay, I want a show of hands. Who thinks that the smaller the snake it is, the less harmful it is? What? Okay, who thinks that it doesn't matter what size it is, it can still be very harmful?
Wow.
Did you know that there are some baby snakes, their venom is more poisonous when they're babies than what it is whenever they're big?
Yeah.
So that means if you get bit by even a tiny little snake, a little bitty baby snake, it could still hurt really, really bad, right? Maybe make you a lot sicker. But when God created everything, were they supposed to be scary?
No, they're supposed to be all nice.
Yeah. So, why are snakes and other animals so scary?
Because of the curse.
Because of the curse. Corruption, right? All right. So we all talked about this already, but in the beginning, it took how many days for God to create?
6.
6 days for God to create everything, right?
So do you.
Excuse me.
And dinosaurs.
And when he was done creating it all, he said it was very
Tired.
well, he was tired, and that's why he rested on the 7th day.
Good.
But it was very good, right? And everything was perfect. And how many of you in the beginning would picture Adam and Eve and imagine all these other animals around there? Wouldn't that be pretty cool to be able to go out and play with dinosaurs in your backyard and go and pick up a snake and pet on it?
Actually,
Kind of makes me I'm scared right now, but you know, when God first created everything,
They were all nice and they didn't like harm anybody.
that's right.
About the panda?
They didn't harm anything. So when God first created everything, He didn't create everything the way that we know it today. You know, even some dogs, whenever they get mad, they'll reach out and bite you, won't they?
Yeah, my dog.
When God first created animals, they wouldn't have thought to do that, right? Whenever God first created dinosaurs, what did they eat?
plants.
Plants.
What about those ones with those big, vicious, ugly, gnarly teeth?
They would still eat plants because they wouldn't eat the meat because they were not going to die.
Right. So this is probably kind of what that dinosaur was thinking, right? If you imagine a dinosaur going and sitting down in a restaurant and it's going, what can I get on this menu? And it's looking at all these salads and fruits. You think that's probably what the dinosaur was doing? If there was restaurants?
Probably, because
And if not, then they just went and picked it off the trees, right?
Yeah.
Ate the plants on the ground.
Not the meat.
How cool would this be?
Awesome.
You see Adam and Eve? Look, they're riding the dinosaur.
that would be pretty
Alright.
Too cool, right?
Yeah.
How many of you go and play and ride on your dinosaur in the backyard? Oh, I tricked you guys. We don't have dinosaurs now. But how cool would that be? Pretty cool, right? I think we have some people in here that could probably tell some pretty convincing stories. Telling me they're riding on dinosaurs in their backyard.
Lizards are
Dogs and critters. Yeah.
tape a lot of lizards together.
Sure, there are plastic ones.
We do tape a lot
So-
of lizards together.
Back when God first created everything, He created it all to be good. But then something happened.
They ate off the fruit of knowledge, which God told them.
They ate off of the tree of what? Of the knowledge of good and evil, right? Okay. After they did that, that's when sin started showing up. And everything was corrupted, right? And in the Bible it tells us that at that point, God says, for we know that the whole creation groans and labors with birth pains together until now. Meaning, everything was going to be cursed after this. Because Adam and Eve did the one thing. They had rule over everything. They could have went anywhere, played with all these animals, done whatever they wanted. They just had this one little tree that they weren't supposed to eat out of. How many of you like Reese's? Oh, I love Reese's. Peanut butter is my weakness. I like peanut butter cookies. I like anything with peanut butter in it, right?
Yeah.
How many is just crazy about peanut butter? Oh, you think about it, it's all creamy and And then sometimes, I'm not a big milk drinker, but occasionally I'll drink some milk with that peanut butter. Ooh, doesn't that taste good? Just think how that, everybody close your eyes. I just want you to close your eyes and imagine that you're getting ready to bite into this big, thick, really rich with chocolate and peanut butter Reese's. Oh, how good is that? The chocolate melting in your mouth. So good, isn't it? Okay, you guys have opened your eyes. How many are hungry for Reese's now? Okay. Maybe we'll go out after church and get some Reese's. All right. So there's this one time I was on a diet and I said, no more sweets. Not going to do it. You know, I just told you that Reese's is my weakness. And I saw some Reese's sitting there. And it was at the store even. It wasn't even in my house. It was at the store. And I was standing there in line at the checkout. And I saw these Reese's staring at me. I mean, these things had eyes and they were fixed on me. Not even kidding. They're sitting there saying, eat me, buy me, and eat me. If they had a mouth, that's probably what they would have said. But I was like, oh, I can't do it. I'm on a diet and I can't eat those sweets. How many of you have had moms and dads on diets and they say, I'm not going to eat this and I'm not going to eat that? Yeah. Reese's were a no-no. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, it just looks so good. And those pictures that they put on there sometimes, don't those pictures that they put on food look so good? It's like you could literally almost eat the wrappers too. Yeah. And they had just stocked it, so there was all these Reese's right there looking at me in the eye. So guess what I did? I bought a Reese's and I ate it. Totally killed my diet, because then after that, I started craving them even more, and I went back and I got more Reese's, and I ate some more of them. Pretty bad, wasn't it? So, you know, kind of like Adam and Eve got tempted in the garden. They had all these other pretty plants and wonderful food that they could have ate, but this one tree, it looked so good for them to eat off of, right? And the serpent made his way in there and said, oh, you shall not surely die. My head was telling me, oh, you shall not surely crash your diet, right? This ain't gonna hurt, just one little Reese's. And then that one little Reese's turned into a whole bunch more Reese's, and then I got a little bag of them. Got kind of bad after that, right? That's kind of how it happens today, doesn't it? You get yourself into just a little bit of trouble, and then it gets into more and more. And that's kind of how it happened back in the Garden of Eden. After they ate that fruit, they realized, oh no, I've done something wrong. They even hid from God because they knew that something was wrong, that they shouldn't have done it, right? We all do things that we shouldn't have ate or that we shouldn't have done. But because of what happened, God cursed everything. Snakes, we are now scared of them, right? God says in the Bible that man will crush a snake's head with his heel, but a snake will bruise our heel, right? If we were to step on a snake with our bare feet, ouch, right? Yeah.
Even for our shoes.
And not only that, but no longer was it easy for Adam to just get his fruit and go out and pick all this luscious. Does anybody like fruit? Okay, well, I don't, but I'm sure that you guys would enjoy going out and getting all this good fruit, not even having to work for it, right? Just going right out there, picking it off the vine and eating it. But now there's things like thorns and things that we have to work around. And sometimes, how many of you guys have heard your parents say, oh man, we need some rain. Things are dry and we need some rain, right? That means plants die if they have a garden in the summer. Our parents want that rain to come so that they don't have to be out there garden or getting the hose out and spraying it all the time, right? So that way we have that rain and it's not so hard then to work with it, right? But because of what had happened, we now have to work for things. And things are kind of scary to us, some animals. Like this big guy, what if you would have saw him?
Yeah.
Got some pretty big teeth there, doesn't he?
After the curse, if you saw you could probably get hurt.
Do you think that maybe he looked at, or did kind of like in Little Red Riding Hood, bigger teeth to eat you with, my dear? Right, he wouldn't have ate us back in the beginning, would he?
But if he was still alive, he probably would have ate us out because of the curse.
That's right. What about this? Tell me what this is.
Lion and a lamb.
Lion and a lamb. Is this kind picture to look at?
No.
Don't you think that maybe the lion is usually eating that little lamb?
Yeah.
Well, did you know that there's a little lion named Little Tyke? And actually, it would go out, and I believe it was antelopes, would go out and actually protect them from other lions and stuff. Really, true story. Would go out and protect other animals. This big old burly lion going out